The Winter Olympics start this Friday, and for the next 2 weeks, the world will be focused and united by more than just disasters and problems and war. Now, I don't know what the opening ceremonies are going to be like this year, but there is nothing like the spectacle of athletes gathering from every nation of the world to process into the stadium and to have them join together in playing games. We need that reminder from time to time that despite our different nationalities, we all inhabit this one planet. And so too, the church needs to be reminded from time to time that we are one body made up of people from every nation. And every single part of the body is important. The Apostle Paul talks about that in his first letter to the Corinthians in the 12th chapter. The body is a unit, though it is made up of many parts, and though all its parts are many, they form one body. So it is with Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, slave or free, and we were all given the one Spirit to drink. Now the body is not made up of one part, but many. If the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be a part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be a part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has arranged the parts of the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you, and the head can't say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. And the parts that we think are less honorable, we treat with special honor. And the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while our presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has combined the members of the body and has given greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. Now you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it. The Bible's picture of the entire church of Jesus Christ is like the opening ceremonies at the Olympics. Every team is there to do its part. But if that's the case, then what part would we be? What part would we be in this church here? Would we be the dance team? They're the beautiful ice dancing couple, full of grace and beauty? Or would we be the hockey team with its raw power and athleticism? Or maybe the alpine ski team with its blazing speed, or the snowboarding team with their risk-taking thrills? What part would we be? Well, I don't think this church would be any of those. I think of all the teams, this congregation would probably be the curling team. We're curling for Christ. Now let me explain. First of all, we fit the curling team because the U.S. curling team is from Minnesota, at least most of it. All 4 of the men's starters are, and 1 or 2 of the women's starters are as well. The rest of them are from Wisconsin. If you take away Minnesota and Wisconsin, you have no curling team. So, we would fit the curling team being a part of Minnesota. But we would also fit the curling team because curling has a unique goal. The goal of the curling team is to put the rock in the house. Do you know how curling is played? You have these great big 40-pound granite boulders with a handle on them. And players take turns sliding these rocks down the ice toward a bullseye, and that bullseye is called the house. The closer you get your rock to the house, the better. Now, it's not flashy. It doesn't take your breath away like some sports do. Curling is all about the rock. And that's what this church is all about, too. It's all about the rock, Jesus Christ. And our goal is to put Jesus at the center of all that we do in this house of worship and in our own homes and in the homes of our neighbors. When the rock is in the house, then we win. Ephesians 4 says that we are all parts of the body, but Jesus is the head. He is the one that holds us all together. He is the focus of the whole team. Just like the focus of the curling team is to get the rock into the house. But how do you do that? Well, in curling, you have 4 players on a side. And one at a time, they slide their rocks towards the house. But this isn't bowling. The rest of the teammates don't sit there and sip beer and tell jokes and watch one person throw the rock. No, in curling, every player is needed for every play. And this is where the brooms come in. Curling is the only Olympic sport that combines housekeeping with athletics. See, while one person is sliding the rock towards the house, another person is at the other end of the rink with their broom held up as an aiming point. And the 2 remaining players then take their brooms and sweep like mad in front of the moving rock. And the reason you do this is that by sweeping and changing the intensity of the sweeping, you can change the speed and direction of the rock and ultimately where it ends up.